to Unladylike Opinions. Today's review is Queen Sugar episode 2, season 6, and Dream with the Deeply. Okay, the episode starts off with them in the waiting room where Prosper was taken to the hospital, and Ralph Angel and everybody has been there all night. So he asked Darla if she wants to go home because, she's pregnant or whatever. And Vi comes in and they asked her, did she call his daughter? And she said, yeah. And they said, what did you tell her? And she was like, I told her the truth. So, and Vi said she's supposed to take a flight out of Chicago or whatever. And so she said, Prosper was put in a medical induced coma to keep the swelling down in his brain. And Micah asked her, do you want me to call my mom, which is Charlie? And she was like, no, she has a big meeting, so, let her deal with that or whatever. And so Billy comes in like a storm, baby. And Billy, I wonder where has Billy been, since Prosper been on the show, like, or whatever. And she come in with an attitude, and Vi thanked her for coming, and she was like, respectfully, don't thank me for coming to be with my father like I'm some stranger doing a favor. And I'm like, whoo, girl. So Nova comes around the corner with the doctor, and she hears Billy and tells her no one is at fault, and if she wants to blame someone, blame her. Billy tells the doctor that she wants her father to have the best care. She is the power of attorney. She has all his paperwork, all his insurance and everything. She is his, sole next to kin or whatever. Boy, when stuff happens, people really show their true colors. So Ralph Angel and Nova have a moment. And she asked him, how things going. He said they're supposed to find out to know if they're having a boy or girl today. And, Nova says that, it's always good to have something good to look forward to. Then they hug and he leaves. Michael is sitting outside on the phone when a cop walks by with a black older guy in a wheelchair. And I think he was handcuffed. And I'm like, what? So the cop just taps Micah on the shoulder and says, watch it. And Micah started having flashback because, early on in past seasons, Michael was racially profiled and pulled over by a cop and held at gunpoint. So, he's obviously still dealing with it. So Hollywood sees him and asks if he's all right. And Michael says, this whole thing is crazy. And Hollywood tell him, just come to the grand opening of the real spot later so you can show off your pictures. So then they show Charlie at her big meeting, and Charlie is, banking for St. Joe, trying to put St. Joe on the map more, but they want Charlie to run for, senator, which is huge. But Charlie wants to take time to consider, and they tell her that she have any skeletons in the closet, she need to go ahead and, put that out there. And she says, I have no skeletons. Charlie, you got a big 6 foot, I'm assuming 6 skeleton named Davis. I don't know why you playing. Davis had this big old scandal where he basically humiliated Charlie. And I know people gonna feel the type of way that she got back with him, especially how the reason they got divorced. But, hopefully she come around and go ahead and, come with the truth. So back at the hospital, Billy tells Aunt Vi, the doctor told her about the planned treatment to induce the coma, and Aunt Vi was the one that signed off on it. And she said she tried to reach Billy, and Billy was like, I was on the airplane in the air or whatever. And she was like, I won't apologize for that. It had to happen real quick. And Billy said she wasn't asking her to apologize. And, she was thankful for what she did for Prosper, but she is here now. So basically, I'm his daughter. I'm here now. I don't need you to make no more decisions. Let me handle my own father. That's basically what she said. So the doctor come in and tell them about this hypothermia treatment, and Billy argues with Aunt Vi that about what would save her father. So they're still, Aunt Vi still trying to be over authority or have some type of input or whatever. And she hollers out that, you know, she's been friends with Prosper over 35 years, and that Billy is not alone in this, and that they can make decisions together. Billy said she would have moved him to Chicago, this would have never happened. And she says Prosper said the Bartolones would take care of him, and look where he is at now. And Vi had enough and was like, she told Billy she had a lot of bad judgment, and the last time he was in the hospital, you couldn't be bothered to see him. I sat here with him for weeks, and I was waiting on this side of Aunt Vi to come out because I knew it was coming sooner or later. Billy calls the doctor and tells the doctor to remove anybody related to the Bartolones off the visitor list, and remove Violet as Aunt Vi as the next of kin. Billy. May I understand, because Aunt Vi do kind of like overstep, but you know, it's all out of good faith, because she really does. Like 35 years they known each other. She really, Prosper been in her house for everything or whatever. So I don't know if taking her completely off the visitor list was the best move, but you know. Okay, Michael is sitting down, I guess, was he on campus? I don't know. He was sitting down just staring, and he been doing that staring thing a lot where he just get lost in space or whatever. I think Michael's still holding on to trauma for when he got arrested by the police or whatever. And so his friend tells his friend about his experience with the police, and his friend asked him, you know, what happened at the vaccine drive or whatever. And the friend says, you know, if you ever want to talk, you have brothers around that you can talk to. So then Michael calls Charlie, and she immediately suspects that something is wrong when he asked about her meeting, because she was like, you wouldn't ask me that, something is wrong. So he tells her about Prosper, and of course he tries to tell her, you know, we got it, keep on with your big meeting. And Charlie say, I'm on the next flight out. Charlie was out of there. And okay, and Vi calls Nova and tells Nova that Billy banned them from the hospital. She tries to get Nova to talk some sense into Billy, because apparently Nova and Billy got past history. I don't know what it is, but they got some type of past history. And Nova's phone just keep doing some weird things or whatever, so she hangs up with Aunt Vi, and then she gets this little notification that says that was her phone call to call in the sheriff. And she hears this noise and it hangs up or whatever. So obviously it seems like Nova line is tapped or something or whatever. So now we got Ralph Angel and Darla at their little picnic, and Darla talking about how she want to do everything different this time around. And no, we're not at the picnic yet. Ralph Angel and Darla at the doctor and find out that they are having a little girl. And I'm so happy for that, because now they have their para boy and a girl. So Hollywood tells Aunt Vi that the news will be at his grand reopening, you know, or whatever. And he wants to cancel it because he's worried about Prosper, and he doesn't feel right celebrating when Prosper is not there to, you know, celebrate with him, and Prosper's in the hospital. He said it doesn't feel right to be celebrating. So Aunt Vi says she not gonna let Prosper fast tell little girl stop her from seeing him. What Billy do to Aunt Vi? Why she call her fast? I don't know, but she started hyping up Hollywood and says that they about to get hit with all this sexual chocolate on their TV. You know, Hollywood was eating it up or whatever, and he wanted her to be, you know, his good luck charm. Where he says she is his good luck charm, and he wanted her to be there when they have the news thing or whatever, the reopening with the news being there. So Ralph, Angel, and Darla, okay, we at the picnic now. Ralph, Angel, and Darla are at their picnic, and she tells him how she wants to do things different with this pregnancy. She knows she was eating terribly in the beginning, but now she want to kind of like eat more healthier. And, you know, and she watched how when they was at the hospital all night waiting on Prosper, that how the hospital was understaffed. So she's considering having a home birth. And Ralph Angel is a little hesitant, and, you know, she told him she wants to hire a midwife, and he tells her, you know, if anything happened, they gonna hightail to a hospital. And of course, you know, she was like, yeah, exactly. So Charlie is outside Prosper hospital room. You knew Charlie was gonna be on the first thing smoking, trying to get back, because, you know, Charlie is the saver. So she's out there, and she runs into, you know, Billy before she tries to go in. And, you know, looked like they had some type of history, because she, you know, they hugged each other and had a nice little conversation until Charlie tried to go in their room, and Billy was like, girl, no. And so she was like, no, I'm setting boundaries, because your family, mainly Aunt Vi, love crossing the lines. And Charlie asks her, what does that mean? She says, no visitors for now. So she tells her that they are alike when it comes to fathers, because, you know, Charlie couldn't be bothered when her father was basically dying or whatever. And I think Charlie made it too late when her dad died. Yeah, I think she did make it too late. So she missed out on being with her father, chasing power, is what she says. And she tells Billy to listen to her father and let people love him. And if she doesn't, she's trying to control him, and she doesn't let people love him. But Billy says that it's the other way around. Her father's the one trying to control her. So obviously, Billy and Mr. Prosper have some type of past, you know, drama or whatever. I wonder what was it or whatever. But, you know, Dominic Ross runs up on Nova. Not really runs up, but, you know, he startles her. And I guess she's still on edge with all the stuff she got going on or whatever. And he tells her that he was a fan of hers and he was honored to meet her. And he wants to get to know her more. Then she hollers at his the lady that was over there, Miss Loretta. He hollered at her or whatever, and they had a little, you know, back and forth or whatever. So now Hollywood is at his spot called The Real Spot, and he is talking to the news, and Micah shows up, and he shows Micah around. He shows them this room called the War Room, and this is the room he has, you know, put right there for people, mainly men, that have issues, and they come in their room and they talk it out. And which is you know, pretty good idea, because men really, you know, have a better way of talking to each other than women do. With some, I ain't gonna say all. So we finally see who Aunt Vi been sneaking off to, and it's a woman named Celine and her son Gabriel. And so obviously Celine is, you know, a battered woman. And she tells Aunt Vi that Gabriel used her phone to contact his father, to text him, and she thinks he will be able to track them. And she is like distraught, thinking he gonna find her. But, you know, Aunt Vi gets the phone, tell her, you know, calm down, let me look. So she gets the phone and sees that the text timed out. It was never sent, because the Wi-Fi at the hotel is bad, horrible, so it didn't send. So she apologized to Aunt Vi for panicking and making her come over, and Aunt Vi was like, you know, I've been here. And she reassures her that she will be there for her, you know, no matter what. And Celine asks Aunt Vi to talk to Gabriel, because, you know, Gabriel doesn't really understand not being with his daddy, and he wants to be around his father, because I think it was his birthday. And, you know, Aunt Vi talks to him and tell him that, you know, it's important that you don't try to call your dad, because you remember why y'all ran from your dad. And he said, you know, because dad does bad things to mom or whatever. And, you know, he asks Aunt Vi to stay, because nobody never comes over. And of course, she stays. So that means she finna miss Hollywood big moment with reopening the real bar or whatever. She tries to call him, but she get his voicemail, of course, because, you know, he's at his grand opening. But, you know, let's stand by. Darla has prepared a healthy dinner for her and Ralph Angel, and she asked him would he go pick up her medicine or whatever. And, you know, he's still, you know, worried about Prosper, hoping he'll be okay or whatever. And she was like, well, you don't have to, you know, go or whatever. He was like, you know, yeah, I can do that, you know, whatever you need or whatever. So Nova pops up on Billy, and this way it get good. And Nova pops up on Billy, and Billy tells her that she read her book and she saw her panel on YouTube. And so they got some type of deep connection, because they started talking about, you know, how Nova was like into this activist stuff in high school. So obviously they got some type of deep rooted connection with each other. So Billy was like, she couldn't believe that Nova stayed in Louisiana, and Nova says she has family there, and family means everything to her. And now, Nova, I would question that, because you can put your family through HELL plenty of times. But I'm gonna let it go. Nova tells Billy not to shut out Aunt Vi, and Billy tells her that Aunt Vi is very disrespectful and she loves to be in everybody's business. And Nova tells her whatever Aunt Vi offered him to stay with her. No, Nova tells her that, you know, Aunt Vi offered Prosper a place to stay during COVID. And Billy says, well, I offered him to come stay with me and the kids, but he turned her down because he would rather be with Vi than his own blood. So obviously her and Prosper had some type of, you know, relationship, some bad blood with them two or whatever. And Nova tells her that she has been gone a long time, and Prosper loves St. Joe, and he didn't want to leave, and he didn't want to worry, you know, Billy or whatever. And she tells Billy that Aunt Vi has earned her right to be in the room with Prosper because she's been there for Prosper since day one. And Nova was like, you owe me. And like that, Billy was like, okay, I'll call the hospital. What Billy did? How she owe Nova? I can't wait to see this play out, because you know Nova plays both sides of the fence or whatever. So I'm wondering, is that, I don't know, it don't kind of make sense and then it don't make sense at the same time. So I don't know. So we get back over to Aunt Vi's house, and she walks in as Hollywood is sitting down, you know, on the at the table. I mean, in his chair, watching his news special about to come up. And she come up with a lie saying that, you know, she tried to get there. They must have crossed paths, and he was leaving when she was coming or something. And she asked how it go. And he was like, perfect, except you wasn't there. He tells her to sit down, and then they watch the news special. And she tells him how good and handsome he looked. And he said, yeah, I do. I guess I didn't need my good luck charm after all. The look on Aunt Vi's face, like the movie. You know you stuff, don't you? That's how I was looking at her or whatever. And so I don't know why she won't tell Hollywood, or why she just didn't, you know, tell the truth of where she was going, because I'm pretty sure Hollywood will understand. So is the husband someone that they know or something? I don't know. I was confused by why she didn't tell Hollywood about it or whatever. So then we have Dominique showing up at Nova's house. So obviously it looked like Dominique has a thing for Nova. He has an extra plate that Loretta had made for her. She wanted to thank her for the pie, because the pie was for Dominic, but Loretta ate it because she said the pie was so good or whatever. And he said she never had any restraint for sweets, even when they was kids. So Nova just automatically assumed that they was childhood sweethearts. And he was like, no, that's my sister. So Nova was sitting there looking stupid as usual. And she apologized, and he gives her the vegetable casserole. Vegetable casserole. I don't think I eat that. He gives her the vegetable casserole, and Nova says she needed some type of kindness with everything that went on today. And he asked her, if you need someone to talk to, you can talk to me. So she told him about the hashtag that was trending about canceling her. And the hashtag was cancel Nova Bartolone. And it's because they say that she is in a public relationship with a dirty cop, and she feels like she doesn't need to explain herself and he tells her, when you are asking people to follow you, high expectations come with the territory, and it's a gift and a curse at the same time. And she says that her mom told her about the connections. She always had strong connections with, living in her truth. So she said she is living in her truth, and it cost her the man that she loves. So I'm assuming that she left Calvin alone because she felt more strongly with, being in her activism, and it wasn't going to look right with you being, she was already in love with him when she found out that he was a dirty cop. So I guess that was a hard decision for her to make. So she tells him she feels off and needs to go to bed. He tells her to take care of herself and take some time to herself because they need her voice. So Ralph Angel arrives at the hospital to see Prosper. And when he pulls back the curtain, there's no Prosper. And you can just see he stepped back and his eyes begin to well. And I'm like, oh my God, I know Mr. Prosper ain't gone. But Mr. Prosper pop up out the bathroom, and he cut Ralph Angel to tickle me. And Ralph Angel eyes lit up like so bright when he seen him, and he said, Mr. Prosper. And it was a relief to see him alive, walking and looking well. So Prosper asked him what was wrong. And so because he was like, because he had a sonogram, and he said that he wanted, Prosper to be the first one to see the sonogram. And he tells him that he's having a baby girl. And Prosper used to carry Billy's pictures around because that was like his, prized possession. And he said it was a blessing to have her. So Prosper tells him he's going to love his baby girl better than he did. So Prosper, it looked like Prosper is the one that kind of messed up with Billy, or have some type of regret. So how he was probably not in her life as much as he wanted to be or something. So Ralph Angel tells him it's never too late, and he still has time to show that love to Billy that he wants to show her. And the moment between Ralph Angel and Prosper was everything, because they kind of like, he called him son, and he held him, and they cried together. So it's like Prosper is like another dad to Ralph Angel, and Ralph Angel is like a son to Prosper. But I cried a little bit, just a little. So I can't wait to see the next episode to see what's up with Nova and Billy's relationship, because it's something there that I can't wait to see what it is, because it's like, what is going on with these two? They got some type of animosity towards each other, and then Nova has some type of hold over Billy. I don't know, but like, share, comment. I'll be back Tuesday with this Queen Sugar. So, stay posted. Bye.